Testing, testing. Hello, everybody. How is everyone else doing? I was originally going to play more Warriors All Stars today. I hate that game though, so instead I was gonna play Tetris, but I ended up finishing that game in like 20 minutes while testing it. So instead, now I'm playing a different falling block puzzle. Hi, 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 hi. Hello, Azarius. Is that a zero I see? That's a bit messed up. You know what? The O's, those are fine. Yeah, I've never actually. What? No, I would never. I suppose I'll allow it. I've never actually played the original Puyo Puyo. I played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is the same game effectively, but kind of on a whim, I was like, you know what? I should play that instead because I know that game is at least long enough that I can do repeat runs to make it last at least an hour or two. And I like Puyo Puyo. I don't play it nearly as much as I really should, but it is a game that I do enjoy quite a bit. Closest I ever got was the minigame in Trails of Cold Steel 3/4. Is there really a Puyo Puyo type minigame in those? Damn. I really gotta play those eventually. I have not. I really need to just play more Falcom games in general. I think the only one I've played is Guruman, A Monstrous Adventure. But hearing that there is a Puyo Puyo like mini game within them is very, very neat, very awesome, real. Yeah, I already have the game up, because I didn't want to deal with trying to position everything. Yeah, the Trails. Yeah, the Trails series is great. I've always heard great things about them. I think the only reason I haven't played them before is mostly just because of their length. I've heard they're very long, which you can normally get away with. I do like long RPGs quite a bit, but they're not ones that I can play super often. And for such a long series, it's hard to get into it. Oh yeah, it's an investment. So I have heard. On top of that, also for a really long time, most of it wasn't translated. I know most of it is now, but for a very long time it was not. Played through 8 games in the series, and 8 of them. I mean, I guess it's not too surprising. There's Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, I believe it is. I know there's the, like, I don't know if it's a fighting game or what, but I know there was one that got an English translation finally, like, 2 days ago? Maybe even 1 day ago. I know about that one. I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot more. Just one of those very long-running JRPG series. One of many that I really need to get around to. Yeah, as you can probably tell from me playing, I am not amazing at Puyo Puyo. I would say I'm pretty good at Tetris, but Puyo, kind of a bit mediocre at, to be entirely honest. And the Sky 1 through 3, from 0 to Azure, of Cold Steel 1 through 4, Interreverie through Daybreak 1/1-2, then whatever Kai will get localized as. There really are that many. Trails versus East. He's similarly, he's another one. Not just for that crossover, but just in general, is another one that I also need to get to. The closest thing I have played to an East game is a game called Rants 4, and I played that over a decade, well, close to a decade ago at this point, so... And I know that that game apparently has very similar gameplay to the old East titles. They've always seemed interesting to me. Just a bit long to get into on a whim, unfortunately. Oh shit, that wasn't the best move I could have made there. Oh well. I'm very glad that the difficulty curve in this game ramps up fairly slowly. I don't have to play super well moment 1. Oh yeah, 3 combo, and that wasn't even intentional, that was... I expected that to be a 2 combo. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too great at Puyo. I am surprisingly good at Tetris, despite how poor I am at these games, but... It looked like I played it. Wasn't the most complicated stuff, to be fair, but... No, I will very frequently in this game make completely accidental plays in this, and then like they work out, so can't really complain too much. I've heard that this video game isn't particularly difficult, even the later stages. And I've been Mean Bean Machine several times, so despite my poor playing ability, I should be hopefully fine, even in the later segments of the game, outside of a couple of individual fights. But hopefully won't be too bad. Now this one's gonna be a huge combo, and this one was intentional. See, I can set up combos occasionally. They just require, I can only do massive combos, and half the time, they get blocked before they actually happen, but I can do them occasionally. I'm not too terrible at Puyo. It's not great either. I think a lot of the trash blocks this time have actually ended up in positive placements for me. They've helped my set more than hurt them. That one. Sure, the difficulty will start ramping up near the end. Even if this game most likely isn't too bad, sure it'll be at least the same difficulty as Mean Bean Machine by the end. I messed that one up. I messed that one up a decent amount. Wow. Ooh. Not too fun. Oh, this one I can get. I can at least get a 2 here. I won by default. He took himself out. It's so funny seeing the characters in this game, because I do know a decent amount of the Puyo characters from the later games, not just Tetris, but also some of the RPGs. But a lot of the ones showing up here, I do not recognize. Like this one, this little elf boy, this little elf child. They're probably in at least one other Puyo related thing, but I have personally never seen them before now. sure hope there are more songs in the later stages. Could just be a case of like the first 5 stages have the same song, then the second 5, and so on, but don't hate this song, but hearing it, it's a very short loop. So hearing it non-stop at the first few stages does get a bit dull. I totally claimed that for you. Definitely was not partially an accident at all. No way. Absolutely not. Too smart to make accidental moves. All intentional. All by my perfect design. It's the goo man, it's the goo monster man. This is yet another character that I have not seen in future games. So far it's been most of them. Most are either unique to this game or at least I personally haven't seen in others. I may end up losing this one. I'm pretty close to, yeah, I probably will. Oh wow. Won't be too bad if I do. Ooh, that was not great. Maybe, just maybe salvage it, possibly. Probably not though, but, you know. Okay, no. I knew that was gonna happen. I don't know what exactly determines the exact falling spots of the trash spots, but it always feels like, they fall down at exactly the next spot while you're playing to put another block. Obviously not always the case, but it is frequent enough that it feels like a common occurrence. I'm where? Oh, now the speed is really picking up. I feel like almost all of the wins I've gotten so far have been by complete incident. Largely just the opponent taking themselves out while I just survive. Hey, nice. Ooh. Please give me a red soon. I don't think it's going to. Nope. Okay, I've lost. Oh well. I'm very glad I'm not going for no continues. Because I was slightly considering seeing how far I could get without continues, but I don't think I'd be able to get too far. Definitely not to the end. Very rusty at Puyo Puyo in general. I used to play it significantly more often than I have in recent years. So I think the last time I like really significantly played any amount of Puyo was probably like 2 years ago. Even then I wasn't great at it, but definitely very rusty at the moment especially. There's always the big risk when trying to set up big chains. A very big risk versus reward game, and I am not very good at taking the reward and not chancing risk when I get the opportunity to. Oh my god, really? Ooh, yeah, no. Not doing too great. I'm my own worst enemy in a lot of these situations. I fuck up so easily. Yeah. Oh, well, I survived for 2 extra seconds. That's cool. Ooh. I do plan to at least finish one run tonight though, because I want to finish this game. It's not too hard, I'm just very bad at this. But despite how low skill I may be, I can still win at least one full run. There's no way I can fail that hard. I am doing a lot better this attempt at least. So I think I can win this one. As long as I don't fuck up too badly. Alright, maybe I will. CPUs can always make a comeback in these games, of course. Ooh. Well, give a bit more leeway at least right now. Even if not a ton. Okay. Well, he's got a bit of a setup now. Okay, good. Nice. I'm just barely surviving, but I am nonetheless. And that's all that really matters. As long as I can at least live a little bit, I don't really need the huge combos. I can be satisfied with just surviving. Ooh, but I may not even do that at this point. Or maybe I will. Oh, never mind. Ooh, yeah, no. I did end up lasting longer than I expected, though. I was doing pretty bad at the very beginning, but saved it for at least a temporary moment. Yeah, I really gotta get back into the Puyo training dungeon at some point. It's been so long since I've consistently played it at all. I used to be not amazing, but passable at this game at least. But or well, the later games in the series. This one though, very clearly I am absolutely not. I'm probably not even at the halfway point of the main campaign. I'm already doing pretty bad, so definitely not the best showing. Oh fuck. Misjudged that so bad. Ooh. Yeah. I can salvage this even if only barely. Okay, maybe not. I keep saying I can salvage this and then I like have to, but like not that much. Not enough, clearly. But maybe, just maybe. Maybe I actually can salvage it. Possibly. Maybe. Non-zero chance. Never mind, this is 0 chance. Fuck. No, I was so close. The series has the consistently cutest art in the industry. Also, hi. Hello, Ellie. How have you been? Yeah, the art in Puyo is fucking adorable. Not just the Puyo games, but also the Monogatari ones. They all have such fantastic art. I'm very bad at these though. As much as I do like the Puyo games, slash Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, is the one version that I more frequently have played. Despite loving those games, I am very bad at them, as you can probably tell. But like I said, I do enjoy them despite my low skill level. They're very fun puzzle game. Don't know nothing about Monogatari, and I'm not sure if that'll change. Basically all you need to know is it's the Puyo RPG. Imagine Puyo characters in an RPG, and I think the gameplay is like a first-person dungeon crawler, to my knowledge. Well, some of them are that. I think some are like mystery dungeon-like games, but to my knowledge, they're pretty much just the Puyo characters, but in an RPG. Also, finally, I think that was like my 6th attempt, maybe even 7th. That took me forever. I was on that for like nearly 20 minutes. Maybe that would just be a bad difficulty spike though, and this one maybe won't be too bad, I say, as I'm more likely going to get my ass completely kicked. So sad the new one that came out doesn't have the same artist as the modern Puyos, but that was never going to happen. Was there a new Monogatari that came out? Or Puyo Puyo? I know that now it's like... I know, to my knowledge, the modern Monogatari games aren't owned by Sega like Puyo is. I did not know a recent one came out. So I guess it's not too surprising if not the same artist, since no different company, but the modern Puyo art is very cute though. One continue, let's see. I believe Compile Heart still owns the IP, but a girl can dream. Nice that they, at least, it's so interesting that Compile owns Monogatari, but not Puyo, despite the fact that Puyo was originally a spin-off of Monogatari. And even had the same characters for a very, very long time. It's an interesting turn of events. I guess it's kind of like that thing that happened to Arc System Works, where ArcSys owned the rights to make Guilty Gear games, but Sammy owned the right to the characters. Probably, I suppose. Yeah, I have heard about the whole Guilty Gear situation. It was very interesting. But I guess, from my understanding, the Guilty Gear one though, they like got the rights back to them, like not too long after. Like, I think that's the only reason why they made Guilty Gear 2, but Xrd had the old characters back. But I assume it would probably be a lot harder in the case of Puyo Puyo / Monogatari, considering that Puyo is an active side series that is really popular, whereas the Guilty Gear characters didn't really have much aside from Guilty Gear they were in. It'd probably be a lot harder to make like licensing deals around that in the same way that ArcSys was able to at the time. After the Sega Sammy merger, they bought the rights back and made Xrd. Oh, I didn't realize that was thanks to the Sega Sammy merger. Interesting. Very interesting, because I did know about that whole situation. I did not know that they got them back, like, thanks to being able to buy them after the Sega Sammy merger. Very interesting little connection there. I think this attempt I'm gonna try going for slightly shorter combos, because I'm very clearly not the best at making the larger ones. fuller reward, but fuller risk as well. And I think I should probably run with the low risk tactic for now, at least until I get the hang of it again. Not ideal. Yeah, can make at least a little bit of progress moving down now. I still can't fathom the fact that Puyo is directly responsible for the creation of the Hyper Neptunia series existing. Does it have that direct of a connection? I know obviously, you know, both compile hard, but is it like directly, is it because of like the inability to make Monogatari characters that they made Neptunia or something? Beyond being the same company, I didn't know they had that much connection between each other. But I suppose it would make sense. Yo, it only took like several minutes, but I finally got off my 3 combo I was working for. Truly worth the build up. And winner! The sprites look so fucking funny in this game. What is with his pupils? Why do they look like that? They completely change upon him losing. He becomes evil. Ooh. Not dead yet, but I am close. Ooh, that was the worst spot I could have possibly went. Absolutely brutal. Ooh. There was one point where I was doing alright, but nah. Hey, I would assume this probably has the same number of stages as Mean Bean Machine, since it is effectively the same game. But hopefully the final stages aren't too much more brutally difficult. It's pretty hard to track down a definitive answer, but the director of Moto Monogatari and the first Puyo was the head of Compile at the time of the series coming into existence. And while he didn't work on it, he's the one who greenlit the series. To my knowledge, my research could just be wrong. So he greenlit it, okay. So he wasn't directly connected to it, but he did. Same guy, same director of Puyo did greenlight the production of Moto Monogatari. It's still pretty interesting. Even if he didn't work on it, still being like the guy that made the decision of whether it could or couldn't exist is still pretty interesting connection to the Moto Monogatari. Combo was absolutely intentional, not at all an accident. Definitely doing quite a bit better than I was at the very beginning of the stream, but really not doing amazingly well still. Definitely have quite a ways to go before I can really be considered actually good in quotation marks at Puyo. No, he's dying! Minotaur man is dying. What is his neck doing? He broke his neck upon getting to the top of the board. I don't remember this character's name, but I am pretty sure she is like a fairly prominent character in the Moto Monogatari games. I forgot her name. Oh wait, it says at the top left, top right. Clearly streamer can't read, but really, I guess. Yeah, I'm fairly certain, to my knowledge, that she is fairly prominent within the Moto Monogatari games. One definitely is quite a difficulty. Like, wait. Was the next stage Satan? Am I already at the second to last stage? Now I knew this game was not long at all, but damn. Already at the end, I suppose. I guess that makes sense why she's this difficult, because she is the second to last fight. I suppose that's not too surprising. I got very bad luck at the beginning. Yeah, I will restart this attempt. You got very good block. Very good block drops at the beginning. That did not do great for me. Scheme is paying off. I'm winning just a tiny bit. A very tiny amount. Please give me a purple. Thank you. Thank you very much, video game. Took so long to get a purple there, but I won. Kinda crazy that this still be even for the last few stages, I'm doing them in less attempts than that single stage against the elephant. Because that one took me like 7 or 8 tries. And it has almost the same music as in Mean Bean Machine. I think it may be remixed in that one. Maybe? Not even 100% certain about that. But Very Gold is mostly the same music. Yeah, the things that are reused between this and Mean Bean Machine are so interesting because most of it's the same. Like the actual Puyo designs are the same. The continue music is the same. This song, I guess, is at least mostly the same. I think some of, or maybe even all of the enemy like patterns, I think, are the same. Then a lot of things are changed, like the backgrounds. The backgrounds are very different. Obviously, the characters themselves, because they turned it into a Sonic game. Sonic the Hedgehog, Eggman focused, or Robotnik focused game. Cannot imagine myself. Oh wait, no. Maybe. Maybe I can survive at least a little bit longer. I was expecting to die from his next trash fall. Not quite yet. I live for at least slightly longer, even if not much. Yeah, quite. Oh, I will be after that. Ooh. I did survive more than I had expected. The final stage is not easy, but it is easier than I had expected. I do think it is about the exact same difficulty as Robotnik in Mean Bean Machine, which, you know, makes sense. Same game at its core, but I don't know why I was expecting it to be higher difficulty. I was expecting it to be a case of them toning it down in the American release, because Americans can't play puzzle games. They can't do it. Especially not in the 90s. In the 90s, no. Puzzle games, America, no, they can't do that. Give them the baby version of the game. Clearly, though, they were correct, because very obviously, I cannot play puzzle games, so they would be right to think so, I suppose, in this particular case. Not ideal at all, but not quite a death sentence, just a bit of an early setback. Okay, good. I was so worried that it was going to put it in that pocket a second time. That would have been not great. I think that would have been an actual instant death sentence, so thank you very much for being nice, video game. I know it's a quite rare occurrence. Well, I won. I beat Satan. And I guess that's the end of Puyo 1. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how the fuck I won that last fight. It seems this game really is as easy as I'd heard, because clearly you can win by kinda just bullshitting your way through it. I suppose that's a good thing in this case. Oh, it's Skeleton Tea? Nasukri, what the fuck? Very creative name, mommy. And there's the best character, Draco Centauros! Oh, her name is just a bitch. Okay. I mean, I guess that is what she is, so it makes sense. I just, you know, I just expected her to have a bit more of a unique name. Like Skezo here. Unlike, however, Minotaur. The most unique name of all time. And that guy didn't do shit. What the? Why is he in the credits? I didn't fight him. I hate Carbuncle. Now I would love him if I could fight him, but unfortunately, not in this one. Very, very sad situation, but not the case in this particular Puyo entry. Had to hydrate really quickly because, to be honest, I did not hydrate at all. Not even once during that entire run. Did not drink water once. I was too focused. I was too focused on winning. And I somehow did. Yeah, the history of this game, and in particular its English localization, is really fascinating. I never really fully understood why they didn't localize it normally in English. I know there was a like prototype, I believe, that was going to be like just a regular English version that wasn't Sonicified. It was just like regular Puyo Puyo, but like with some names changed. I know that was a thing. That I think prototypes were always like leaked for that, but the actual version we got of this game was, of course, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and I love that game dearly. Despite the fact that this is my first time playing the actual original version, I do absolutely love Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, the Sonic version. Hey, let's try a hard level. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I'm quite good enough at Puyo Puyo to try hard level. I'm not gonna stop the stream there because this has been very short and I can go on a few more hours, but I think I am going to end Puyo there. Knew this was going to be short. I don't have any specific plans for this, but you know what? I think actually I do have a plan. I am going to really quickly actually. I think I'm gonna go back to the original stream idea. The original stream plan of WonderSwan Tetris. Because that was the original plan, but it ended up being, I was originally going to get all of the retro achievements for that game, but actually, I have other versions of Tetris. You know what, the Tetris plan? The Tetris plan's still on, but not the WonderSwan game. We're playing Tetris World. I need to resize this. Ignore the unpreparedness of this. Tetris Worlds on the GBA, the Game Boy Advance version. Let's hope this is a good version of Tetris, because I have not actually played this before now. This is the first time I'm touching this. And if it's a bad version, well, there's always WonderSwan Tetris to fall back on. I know that version's good. But this one hopefully shouldn't be too bad. I hope at least. Yeah, as much as I do love Puyo Puyo, a game that I am significantly more fond of and significantly better at is Tetris. I do love both, but I am far better. Why was Tetris WonderSwan the plan? I like Tetris, and I was looking at like retro achievements, because I wanted to just try start getting into that. I've technically used it in the past, but I was never really too much of a retro achievements person. But I went to try getting into that a little bit. It seemed fun. I like achievements. I like achievements for video games. And I was looking at Tetris games that had achievements, and WonderSwan Tetris was one of them. But then this morning, while I had a bit of free time, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna test out the game for like 20 minutes just to see if it is a decent version of Tetris. It is. It's a pretty good version. However, in the process, I ended up accidentally getting every single Tetris achievement. Like, every retro achievement I got, mostly, not entirely by accident, but I got most of the, like, actually kind of challenging ones very quickly. And then I just had like 2 or 3 left. So, but yeah, that version of Tetris ended up being surprisingly good, so I would not mind still just playing it, just for funsies anyways, despite not having the extra achievement incentive. But I did also have this physical cartridge on my physical Game Boy Advance, physically downloaded. So I went to try it. I wanted to see if this one is good, and so far it's fine. It's a very strange version of Tetris, it looks like, but it does not bad. It does have the hold option. There's not any kind of bad input delay, and the block, the logic for which block appears next doesn't seem to be too fucked up, which is a pretty common problem for older versions of Tetris. So common, in fact, that there are some versions of Tetris that I used to play religiously as a kid, but just cannot go back to now because of the block logic. The main one I am thinking of being the original Game Boy version of Tetris, you know, an iconic version, and it's, for what it is, it's not bad. It is really hard to go back to, though, precisely because the block, like, the logic for what decides what your next block is very, very different compared to most modern versions of Tetris. And while I can deal with both versions, the modern method of block decision logic is significantly more fun to play around, in my opinion. Mostly because there is actually a recognizable pattern to it that is, you know, it's got enough variation to not just be, oh, this block is always going to fall after this block, but has just enough, kind of consistency to it, to where you can actually, like, play around, like, muscle memory and, like, memorizing the order of blocks. Whereas for older games, I assume you can also still do that, but it's a lot more random feeling. A really good example of the problems I have with it is in a modern Tetris game, you will never get you'll never see a case where, oh, I got square block, oh, then I got another square block, oh, and I got a third square block in a row. That would never happen on, like, most modern versions of Tetris. In older versions, though, that can absolutely happen. In fact, it happens very commonly. The placement logic is very, very strange in the older versions of Tetris. The Game Boy version of which being one of the earliest, which for being on the Game Boy, and still being a very competent version of the game, it is, like, it's not terrible. It's a fine version. There's a reason why it's so beloved, but it is, as someone who plays a lot of Tetris, and has kind of gotten a bit of muscle memory with the modern block logic, it is very difficult for me to go back to a lot of the older games, the Game Boy version being one of the biggest cases of that. See, unlike Puyo, while I do definitely play a bit more softly while talking, I can actually play this and, like, still do relatively well while talking. Something that I absolutely cannot do for Puyo. Which I say that, but I still did eventually win, it just took a while. But yeah, this one, I could probably go on with Tetris for hours while talking and still be doing pretty fine. A version of Tetris I would love to stream because it's one of my favorite versions, but I do not think that I could while talking without playing absolutely abysmally would be the Tetris the Grandmaster. One of the most iconic versions of Tetris. It's probably never heard of it. Who has, but it's very obscure. But I've actually never played Tetris the Grandmaster 3, but Tetris the Grandmaster 2 is pretty high up there as one of my favorite versions of Tetris. It is very difficult though. It gets incredibly difficult later on, so despite being one of my favorites, it would be a very difficult game to talk while playing. So I think at least for now, I'll stick to the easier versions of Tetris, the simpler ones, but maybe I'll do a Tetris the Grandmaster stream eventually once I'm a bit better at playing while talking. But that game requires such a significant amount of focus that it's just not something I can feasibly do. Version definitely doesn't have any input lag, but it does have like a very weird like delay sort of upon snapping the pieces. And movements are slightly slower than a lot of other versions of the game. Nothing that actually harms gameplay at all, but it does feel a bit odd. Surprisingly, Tetris Worlds on the Game Boy Advance, as far as I can tell, is a perfectly satisfactory version of Tetris. Who would have ever guessed? Ooh, clicked the wrong button. Oh well. Yeah, the mapping I have for this, I mean, it's a technically 3-button game, so like, button mapping isn't too difficult to set up in general, but the mapping I chose for this is the reverse of what I have it as in most Tetris games. Just because that's kind of just how I had my GBA buttons mapped. See, it's not too big of an issue, but it is something that is causing a decent number of mess ups. Also, why I've been, at the beginning I was trying to stick to only flicking one direction, as opposed to using both, as someone really always should. But it helped me keep up a bit easier without getting the buttons mixed up. But I think at this speed, it's probably not a bad idea to not do that. I'm starting to get relatively used to the reverse button mapping. I like the sound effects in this game because they very frequently will cut out. And I don't know if that's just the game itself, or if that's just my real physical Game Boy Advance by Nintendo Entertainment Company. If it is the game itself, that's really funny. Classic case of kind of B-tier GBA game having some very funky sound design. Something I feel like is relatively common for the system. Not too rare for any system, to be fair, I suppose, for like B-tier games, but like for the GBA in particular, it's a very especially common thing. It does give it a certain style to it though, a certain vibe that a more polished game would not have. Speaking of, I love the instant fall sound effect. It sounds like a vacuum turning on for 1 second. I had to cough really quickly. I just realized I forgot to change the stream title and category after switching off of Puyo, so hopefully no one clicks on the stream expecting Puyo, but they unfortunately would not be getting that anymore. Our Naja is permanently dead, as far as this stream is concerned. It's very sad. I don't know why I keep doing that. That exact formation with that exact L block I keep accidentally doing from clicking wrong buttons. Oh, you leveled up. I wonder what the max speed of this one will be. I feel like it varies pretty greatly between a lot of Tetris versions. In some, the max speed is just an instant drop, and others it is surprisingly very slow. And it says level 13, so I'm gonna guess that it probably goes up to level 20, and if so, then the max speed is probably pretty fast, but who knows, maybe it maxes out at 15 instead, and if it does, then that's probably not too fast. Yes, the perfect formation to get 2 squares in a row in. Now let's try some of the other modes. I did see that there were several other modes other than just the traditional marathon mode. Maybe one of those will be a bit more interesting. I can just directly increase it. Okay, I guess the max speed is 15. Okay. 2-minute level challenge. Sticky Tetris. Fusion Tetris. Hot line Tetris, okay. Square Tetris. Cascades. I feel like Cascade is a pretty common Tetris variant, so I think I understand what that one is, but I'm really curious on what hot line Tetris is. Yeah, you've been mixing in different colors with the shapes, I see. Okay, so it also has the cascading effect mixed in. Very interesting. Beyond the added cascade effect, I'm not sure entirely what what exactly this mode actually is. I feel like this is something that's pretty common among a lot of Tetris modes, where a lot of them will end up feeling kind of just exactly the same as regular Tetris. Like, there's clearly something going on, because they're like lines. I probably should have read the description of the mode, but there are like lines in the background. There's clearly something here, but Okay, that was something. Okay, what is wait how okay, so it doesn't describe what it is. Well, I suppose that was something. I don't know what exactly it was, but Hotline Tetris? You do indeed exist. Now Square Tetris. I wonder what this one is. Is it just huh? What? Does it just swap some of them out with squares? Or are squares just more common in this mode? Is that it? Then again, still not entirely certain what exactly this mode is. It's Square Tetris. Yeah, it seems like yet another mode that seems to be almost exactly the same as normal Tetris, just with a weird, obscure gimmick that isn't explained very well and isn't too noticeable. Something that is very common in these kind of middling versions of Tetris that aren't too special. Yeah, my guess is just that squares are more common. Not even every, it's not even like, oh, like 1 in 3 pieces are squares. It's kind of just like, they're a bit more common, like slightly, but not that much. A very, interesting mode, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's just squares are more common in this mode. Oh, Tetris, how I love your very odd, secondary mode choices that barely differ from base game Tetris. Square Tetris, definitely is Tetris, with occasional squares. I still, after playing this for 3 minutes, I still don't know the difference between this variant mode and regular Tetris, so. There's one down. Cascade, I know what that one is. Cascade is in most, like, mid-2000s like versions of Tetris. It's pretty common. I think I know what that one is. Fusion though, yet another one. Oh wait, there is an actual like explanation. I just skipped it. Connect the atom box to the fusion box to reach goal. When the goal is reduced to 0, the level will increase. Complete all 15 levels to win the game. Okay, I don't know what that means. I have no clue what that means, but that's cool, I suppose. Is it? I guess I still connect pieces, but they're just like. I guess the atom box kind of don't go away though, no matter what, I suppose. Strange mode, very, very strange mode, but not necessarily a bad one, just a one that I don't fully understand what the point of is. Yeah, okay. I think, what's my favorite iteration of Tetris? A bit of a basic touch. I just kind of like normal Tetris, but I like very high difficulty normal Tetris. Tetris the Grandmaster 2 is my favorite Tetris game. I gotta cough really quickly. However, as far as like just counting the weird variant types, it is probably magnetic, which is basically you have red pieces and blue pieces. The red pieces go to the left of the screen, the blue go to the right. It's in the PSP version of Tetris, and it's probably in a few other versions of Tetris, but I can't remember any others it's in. It's a mode that requires kind of an extra like line of thinking. Instead of just thinking like, oh, what piece goes into this hole to make a line? Instead, you have to figure out like, okay, I need to make a line, but I need to make it. It's almost like you're playing Tetris horizontally in a way. You're kind of doing the stacking on two sides of the screen rather than just from the bottom. It's not a mode that's super common in most versions of Tetris, but it is very, very interesting. Blocks of the same color stick together. Clear garbage lines to reach the bottom row. Clear the bottom row of stars to increase level. Complete all 15 levels to win the game. Okay. I like how the first block, because this starts from the ceiling, the first block, like, there's no like loading time, so the first block kind of just drops before you really can even have time to realize the game has loaded. Like, not even just react to the to where you need to put the piece itself, but also just the game's loading itself. It happens so fast. Okay, I see what this is. It's basically a variant of Cascade that is where instead of everything cascading normally, some just stick to each other. This is such a janky game. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. It is. I know Tetris Worlds was released on like basically everything at the time. This is kind of the Tetris game on everything of like the PS2, GBA, Xbox generation. But it is very, very odd that this GBA version is this scuffed. Yes, it very much is a very, very scuffed game. Not a terrible version, it is perfectly playable, but I wouldn't say I would generally choose it over pretty much any other version of Tetris. It just exists. I think I'll clear one set of vines. And then I will try this game's Cascade mode. I assume the Cascade mode in this is probably exactly the same as it is in every other Tetris variant. It's Cascade mode, it's fairly standard, one of the more standard side modes. But maybe this game will have some weird quirkiness about it. Who knows? I will say this, the stickiness is kind of oh, hello Kettle. Hi, how are you? we were playing Puyo, the first Puyo game, like an hour ago. Well, actually, yeah, close to an hour at this point. But that was very short, so okay, I did not know that would happen. That ended up being very short, so instead, now we are playing various weird versions of Tetris. Right now, Tetris Worlds, but I will probably actually switch to Tetris WonderSwan in just a moment. But hello, Kettle. I hope you're doing great. I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, this is a very strange version of Tetris. A fairly basic one, but it's just janky enough to be kind of a bit odd to play. One of the weirdest, very basic Tetris versions I've ever tried out. It looks funny. Yeah, it is. It has very funny sound design. The sound it makes when pieces drop is very interesting. And the rest of it beyond the sound design is also pretty funny. a bit of a funny quirky game in general. And I won! Play again from level 1 to become a Tetris master. I'm cooking. Well, clearly I cooked enough to win the mode, but so I guess you are correct. Okay, final mode. Cascade. This is in like every Tetris version from the 2000s. There's no way this is going to be a like janky version of Cascade. There's no chance. This has gotta just be normal Cascade. Single cascade chain, see if it works as intended. The Cascade does just work as normal. It's Cascade. Better than honestly, I'd say it's about on par. They both had the same problem of there being kind of too much in the background, which gets a bit distracting. Not as bad as Tetris DS. Tetris DS is really bad about that. That game is eye strain central. Tetris DS does at least have kind of... It's got a slightly faster speed, so I would say that slight difference in speed is enough to say I think Tetris DS is probably slightly better, but it's a fucking low bar for both. No shit talking Tetris DS, I'm sorry, Ollie. Tetris DS is like one of my least favorite versions of Tetris. I know people love it, it's got the cute like Nintendo pixel art stuff, but actually playing it, it is not the most ideal, especially for long play sessions. That game, when playing it for normal Tetris, it is basic, but is really bad for eye strain because there's too much going on screen. Like there's too much in the background. They fucking fill the background with like as much like flashing lights and shit happening at all times as possible. And when those flashing lights aren't, those backgrounds, even ignoring the backgrounds, the extra modes are kind of just fine. Not bad, but they're not Tetris. Tetris DS is a minigame collection that has Tetris in it. More so than a typical Tetris version. Papuru pensive. Really, it's a Papuru pensive moment. It is not my favorite version, unfortunately. Not the worst version I've ever played, fucking hell no, but as far as relatively modern versions of Tetris go, it's mediocre in my opinion. Has more going against it than for it in my personal opinion. I won. Yeah, this is another one. Another problem this game has that Tetris DS also has, if I remember correctly. All of these extra modes, even if you're playing on marathon, they don't go on forever. You can't do an infinite playthrough of the side modes, which is very strange. It's a weirdly common problem for Tetris variants. I don't know why. If you're playing marathon mode, even if you are playing a side variant, I still feel like you should be allowed to just play forever. But no, they always have an endpoint, and it's usually not a very long endpoint. Well, that's all of the modes of this Tetris variant, Tetris Worlds. I guess it's the end of Tetris Worlds. I think I'll just play a bunch of different Tetris variants. For your next birthday stream, you should stream Sonic Jam for the game com. Cuddle, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. That's gonna be an April Fool's stream. I'll do that as a joke stream. That's gonna be that's gonna be a joke at my expense, because that stream would be... It'd be funny. It would be a stream that would last 15 minutes because that game is broken, but it would be funny. Wait, fuck. Oh wait, whatever the link was you were gonna send it again, but like, put a space in the middle. I'm sorry that happened. Oh! Yeah. The great console name. Game.com is a fantastic console name. Definitely very easy to look up. a very simple game to look up. I guess I will play more Tetris variants. Sonic Adventure 7 too. Here's the thing, what I've heard is the Symphony of the Night Game.com port. It's obviously not like good because it's on the Game.com, but I've heard it's like surprisingly not bad for what it is. Like I've heard it is a surprisingly competent port, although I don't think it fully released. If I remember correctly, it was like not fully released, like kind of a half thing. Like it was mostly finished, but just didn't get fully released. But from what I've heard, what is there of the like prototype that exists is apparently surprisingly good. So I unironically probably would play that. There is a non-zero chance that I would do that. Not even close to finished, but it's functional mostly. See, that's still pretty good. Like that's not too bad. Um, you know, I mentioned that like Tetris the Grandmaster. So you know what? I think I'll stream that. I think I will stream TGM if it will capture correctly. Um see if this wants to work. Um and maybe um having a bit of issues getting this to actually show up, unfortunately. Wait, never mind. Let me see. Does this fix it? Um, and it does. Okay, cool. Simplest mistake is the one that solves it, I suppose. um, so yeah, Tetris the Grandmaster time. If Yeah, I'm good at Tetris, but I'm not amazing at Arca maybe? Yeah, it's Arca, because this is an arcade. This is the arcade version of Tetris. It is also generally considered like the best. Well, Tetris, TGM1, 2, and 3 are all kind of equally considered the best competitive variants of Tetris by most people. And yeah, they were made by Arca. I think even TGM4, which just came out like 2 or 3 months ago, I think even that one is made by Arca. Could be wrong about that though, but I believe it is. I'm gonna see how far I can get. Probably not too far because this game gets hard. At higher speed levels, it is. Wait. Probably. You know what, actually, I am going to really quickly change the stream title. Because I keep forgetting to, and probably not the best idea for it to be on Puyo still. And this. Okay. Okay, go. And now stream is accurate and I can truly focus. Yeah, this is made by Arca. And this is also probably my favorite, or at least one of my favorite variants of Tetris. It gets really fucking hard later on. The later speeds get quite difficult, but Surprisingly, I have not actually played TGM3. I've only played 1 and 2, and the reason for why I have not played TGM3 is because I know that if I do, I'm gonna fucking get addicted to it, and that's not a great idea for me. I can't get addicted to Tetris more than necessary. I have a very bad history of getting addicted to Tetris, and I always forget about the lock not being instant in this version. Yeah, in TGM2, TGM1 this is not the case. Most versions of Tetris this is not, but in TGM2, when you like hard drop a piece, it does not instantly lock. There is a slight delay. And that sounds not great on paper, and I also didn't love it the first time I played this game, but it is something that comes in handy so much at higher speeds, because that hard drop also gives you a slight bit of extra time that you would not otherwise have from a regular drop. I'm doing very badly. I swear I'm normally good at Tetris, but the talking is not the best for my skill level, but it's fine, it's fine. Also, I hope the sound is properly capturing. I know that a lot of full screen applications in OBS are very odd with that. But I would assume it is capturing. If not though, that would be a huge shame, because this game has a pretty great soundtrack. I do love it quite a bit. It is a very fun set of music. Music is really good. It really is. It's such a weird soundtrack for a Tetris game on paper, but it's also like the soundtrack of TGM2 and especially TGM3 have kind of like become a bit iconic within like Tetris communities, because like they're weird on paper, but they're weirdly fitting at the same time. They're not what you would expect for Tetris, but they're so good, and that lack of expectation in them sounding like that precisely is what makes them so interesting. And I'm doing so bad. Time to restart. I can do so much better than that. I know I can. Okay. Sounds like music I'd hear in a late 2000s Xbox arcade game. Really funny you say that, because everyone knows about TGM 1, 2, and 3. And a decent amount of people, I guess, know about 4, even though that did literally just release a couple months ago. But there was actually another TGM game that is kind of less talked about, mostly because, to my knowledge, most people don't seem to like it very much. But that one, I believe, was actually an Xbox arcade game. Making me want to have one of my 3-week Tetris obsessions. Oh, 3 weeks, that's nothing. 3 months or bust. It's funny. I assume you mean the Xbox Live Arcade TGM game. It is. It's one that not many people talk about very often. Even myself, I forget it exists. I don't even remember the name of it off the top of my head. I just know that it existed. But yeah, it's the oft-forgotten TGM game. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the actual quality of it, which I do not know, unfortunately. Another thing that you can do in this version that is also very uncommon for Tetris variants, or especially around this time, TGM kind of introduced a lot of Tetris staples, but one of the ones that are not unique to this game as far as I'm aware, but isn't like a super common staple, you can pre-turn your pieces. And what I mean by that is you can hold the button before your piece actually like exists, and it will turn the second it appears, and that is an absolute necessity at max speeds. At max speeds in this game, you actually just cannot turn unless you pre-turn your pieces. So it's a very interesting mechanic that allows for them to increase the speed level so much more than most other Tetris games. Because the max speed for this game is insanely fast. Faster than pretty much any other Tetris game, other than the other TGMs, of course, but, you know, that's a bit cheating. Doing so bad. The streamer's curse, it really is real, but luckily I'm not at a high enough speed quite yet where it's really necessary to play super proficiently. Also, this game, slightly asshole game, at stage 5, this game actually slows down. For a very short period of time, it actually slows down the speed instead of increasing it. And it is, I'm gonna be honest, in most playthroughs, this one actually is kind of coming in handy. It's giving me a moment to salvage what I have going for me. In most normal runs though, when I have full attention on it and am doing pretty well, this I think is actually like the hardest number before like rank 2. Like rank 5 I think is probably the hardest one, just because it always trips me up and the instant drop in speed causes me to miss input at least one piece, and that kind of causes me some long-term problems. You know, if you get one misplaced piece, it becomes very easy to kind of cascade into significantly more misplaced pieces. And I don't know if it was really noticeable just from looking, but the like extra bit of few frames you get when you hard drop did actually save me there, because had that actually instantly dropped, I would have placed it at one wrong spot. But the extra bit of time that you get after a hard jump is very convenient. It's very helpful. Ooh. Yeah, this is now at the speed where, ooh, fuck, that was a huge miss. Ooh, that was a massive set of misplays. But now it's at the speed where you kinda have to like actually be significantly paying attention in order to keep up. It's usually not too bad when playing normally, but you know, with the having to also talk at least a little bit does make it a little bit harder than normal. But I am keeping up better than I had expected, so that's good at least. Something that you should also do that I did not do that I really should have, and is very good for setting up a later game, like momentum, is in most Tetris games I feel like it's easier to stack in the center and then go to the left or right for your long pieces to kind of finish out a drop. Don't do that in this game. I did that a bit here. That was one of my biggest problems, but that is a really bad idea in this game, because at these huge speeds, you can't really... It's very hard to reach the right and the left side of the screen, especially once you've stacked super high. So it's better to keep your opening spots in the middle, and then save the outside buildings for once you have, like, more room and lower speed to build that up. I got low diffed by a 90-year-old at Tetris. Am I that 90-year-old? I'm not that old. Not quite that old yet, Kettle. Luckily, misplays like that this early in the run is not really an instant death button. That happening later in the run absolutely is, but this early it's such low speed that it's very easy to recover from. And that's another thing. I always do this. I always do this because it's kind of a muscle memory thing. I soft drop whenever I want to slide a piece into a spot, but for TGM2, you actually want to do the opposite. It's better to hard drop in order to slide into a spot than soft drop, because as I mentioned before, that like little window of frames that you get exists for a hard drop. It does not exist for soft drops. If you soft drop, you don't get those extra couple of frames. And so a hard drop is actually safer in most cases than a soft drop is, which is a very strange inversion of what it's like in every other Tetris game. The position of the next piece in the gear is so much better than where they put it in 90% of Tetris games. Yeah, it is. And the main reason why is because this was meant to be a multiplayer arcade Tetris variant. That's why there's always the two-player start on the right side of the screen. Because it's multiplayer and it's an arcade game. So they kind of had to put it in slightly different positions than a normal console game would. See, hard dropping there was significantly safer than soft drops. Also, I just now read that, the Kettle that you said, "Hi, Grandma." I am not Grandma. Kettle, I'm literally younger than you. You can't call me grandma, grandma. Ooh. Again, not at a high enough speed to where a misplay like that can quite ruin a run, but it is still a bit painful to occasionally have that happen. I am a little bit rusty at specifically TGM2 since it does have very slightly different mechanics compared to most other Tetris variants. OMG, hi Grand Ilaiya. I don't know your age, Ellie, so therefore I guess it's allowed, but as long as Kettle doesn't call me. If Kettle calls me grandma, she goes in the evil pit, the pit of death. Because I know that she's older than me. Hey, just barely salvaging it. See, this is the type of situation where this difficulty, rank 5 / the variant of rank 6, is kind of a weird rank where depending on if you're doing really well or really poorly, this can either be the best rank, a very easy like kind of saving yourself type little breather, or it can be absolute hell and an instant like really easy misplay misinput stage. And in most cases it's a misinput stage, but in this specific run I'm doing poorly enough that it's actually very helpful. So rare case of rank 5 being actually helpful and not a problem. Yeah, I think I should probably just... Yeah, I'll restart it here. Back in my day, we used N64 controllers for fire. You used N64 controllers? Ew. That's like the worst controller to use. I think I'm like 2 to 3 younger than you. I can say it. Okay, fine, toddler. Toddler is not allowed in chat. One of the main rules. If I'm grandma, then everyone younger than me is officially a toddler. In my eyes, you're either the same age as me, older than me, or you're fucking 1-year-old. You don't exist. You're not real yet. I'm gonna take my own advice this run and build on the outside, and I'll leave the opening in the center. Yeah, I am finally after about like, what, 30 minutes of playing so far? I am finally getting into the swing of TGM2. It may be Tetris, just like all Tetris. Just like all versions of Tetris. Even a bad Tetris is still Tetris, but TGM2 bit of a unique one, and a very good unique one. Goo, I slept all day and didn't do much work. What the fuck? I can't believe you're not working constantly on a Saturday. Wow. What a lazy bones. Wow, a Saturday night and you're not working and you're relaxing? That's fucked up. Like that one image of Sonic being like, wow, alone on a Friday night? Pathetic. Except instead it's, wow, not doing menial labor on a weekend night? Pathetic. Don't worry, Kettle. It's not like I'm any better though. I'm literally playing fucking TGM2 on a Friday night. I mean a Saturday night, not fucking Friday. I accidentally did actually quote the Sonic image. Okay, but by midnight I need to lock in. Okay. In that case, Hello, you get a 1 hour allowance, and after that 1 hour, at 11:26, someone remind me in chat to yell at Kettle, preferably Kettle. Kettle, remind me to yell at you at 11:26 and force you to go lock in. Insert Onko bed gift. Okay, but you can't go to bed like Onko if you have to lock in an hour. Like, that would be irresponsible. Would Onko want you to do that? I don't think she would. I love how I said that I was gonna take my own advice for this run and stack on the sides, and yet for half of this run, I have stacked in the middle and it has only went poorly for me. Trust me, the advice of stacking on the sides, not the middle, is the better method generally at high speeds, but it also requires 1% more usage of brain, and very clearly I am not too great at that. Brain usage is not my specialty, unfortunately. I did see your chat message, by the way, Kettle. Did not fully actually read it though, because reading right now is hard. But I did see that it exists, so I'm not ignoring it, I promise. Not ideal, not great, very, very bad. Ooh, fuck, that could have been good, but it wasn't. Okay. Okay, but I had an awesome dream. I could draw in it. Well, you could draw in real life. Well, you know, nothing's stopping you. Be very careful not to get too addicted to this, by the way. This could very easily end up turning into like a fucking 10-hour stream all night of me just playing TGM2 if I let it. This game does things to my brain. My skill level? Well, that's how you increase the skill level. You can't just increase the skill level magically. You gotta practice. You gotta do it frequently. You gotta punch the paper. Every once in a while, just take a crack at it. And that's how you improve. I believe in you, Kettle. I think you can do it. Okay, I was doing it earlier in the year. You were! And you were doing good. It would make the streamer oh so very happy if you went back to it, even just a little bit. That's how you improve. You improve by not practicing it. Period pensive, I'll rest on it. Okay. I suppose I'll allow it. Kill that bot with a hatchet. A giant Higurashi Reina replica hatchet. Pixies. You get one moderator Scooby snack for that. Raina Blast! Yeah, that's what the slow speed does to me. I occasionally make those little tiny mistakes, which not too bad when the board is this low and the speed isn't quite at max, but it does become a big problem if you let those tiny little mistakes add up, especially at the higher ranks. Be like that. Now this is the speed I'm used to playing at. Those other Tetris games we were playing before, those were baby shit. This is real Tetris. And it's really fucking hard. Especially on stream. Especially while talking. It is a bit difficult to keep up with. Ooh. Several mistakes in a row. Ooh, even more. Yeah, I think this is a dead run. I don't know why, I made like 10 mistakes in a row. See, that's why I said before, if you make one misinput, especially at this high of a speed, it can kind of cascade into kind of a series of misinputs, and that can be a run killer. Before starting another run, I am really quickly going to hydrate. Okay, hydrated. I need to hydrate in between each of these runs because they go on for decently long, usually like 5 minutes each, and I cannot drink water at all during them. If I look away from the screen for even a moment at the faster speeds, it can be a bit of a problem. And that includes for coughing. So I had to do that really quickly, but I would not be able to do that. Tab out of the game to mute my mic. I would not be able to do that at a high speed. For me, Tetris is kind of one of those games that I can kind of just go into a bit of a trance for. And TGM is one of the special variants where not only can I go into a trance for it, going into said kind of brain mode is the way in which I play it the best. Ooh, I get that. Oh yeah, do you? Then what's a game like that for you? What's a kettle trance game? Tell the class. I'll let you speak to give me a moment to build up my tower for a second. Mario Sunshine somehow. I did see that you played it quite a bit. So I suppose that does make sense. Mario Sunshine is a very interesting game to enter a trance in. For me, whenever I think of those types of games, I always think like endless games, like whether it's like Tetris, Puyo, not just puzzle games, but like Subway Surfers. I've never played Subway Surfers, but I know that's like a very popular like trance type game. Like anything like that kind of just doesn't have an end. The Sunshine being that for you is a very interesting case. I feel like it's not the most common game of that kind of mental state variety. I think this stream has given me a bit of an appreciation for rank 5 in this game. Normally I hate it. It's not great when you're kind of just doing everything by muscle memory, but in this particular case, it is just kind of been very helpful for the kind of getting my bearings whenever I make a few mistakes. Because that has happened quite a couple of times. Ooh. 2 mistakes in a row. Never a great feeling. Ooh. Oh, fuck. Yeah, anytime it's very consistent with my kind of the way I do Tetris. Whenever I make one mistake, and it's really bad at these high speed levels because it's so easy to do. If I don't make any mistakes, then I generally, well, obviously, but if I don't do any misinputs, I should say, I can generally get by pretty well without too much issue. I can generally get to the higher ranks without too much of a problem, as long as I don't do any significant misinputs. But as soon as I do a single misinput, it's kind of done for me at that point. I'm very bad at recovering at such a high speed from a single misinput. But the fact that the game kind of just started itself. But not ending stream here. I'm not ending it quite yet because I have a problem. I have an addiction. I have an addiction to Tetris, and I need to fulfill that addiction more. However, I am going to take a like 5, maybe 10 minute BRB to get up, stretch a bit, and also hydrate because probably audible in my voice. It's getting a bit scratchy. Like I said, because Tetris is such a high intensity game, I barely drunk any water. I should probably do that. I will be back in just a couple minutes. BRB. Everyone make sure to stretch and hydrate yourself. Be back in just a couple minutes. Yeah, I have returned. Let's see, I'm back. Hope everyone had a good break. Got got up and got water and stuff. I know I definitely did. My voice is significantly better now. So time to feed the addiction more. Tetris time. Immediately getting back into it. Yeah, if it isn't very clear by this stream, um, I do absolutely have a great fondness for Tetris. I love it very much. Had to cough really quickly. Luckily I can do that at these low speeds. All someone needs to survive in this world is cute girls in Tetris. Fucking absolutely hell yeah. The new necessities. The two true necessities of life. Anything cute and anything with a Tetris sticker on it. Or just any kind of falling blocks, to be honest. Doesn't even have to be Tetris. Puyo's pretty good. I've never played Dr. Mario, but I'm sure it's fine. Columns is pretty good. That's a good one. I've heard Cleopatra's Fortune is good. Never played it, but heard it's good. Other falling block puzzle games, any of those, really any of them. That's all you really need in life. See that little tiny bit of extra frames you get on a hard drop. It's not much, but it's just enough to be super helpful. That single mechanic has become the primary reason why this is probably my favorite version of Tetris. I know TGM2 is supposedly way better. I refuse to play that though, out of pure raw fear of becoming addicted, because if it really is as good as I've heard, I feel like I could fucking get really addicted to it. And I'll probably play it someday, and I probably will deal with said addiction once that day comes, but I'd rather postpone it. I still haven't completely lost all interest in TGM2, so I think I'll move on to TGM3 someday once I've had my fill of this particular game, but I think that's still quite a ways off. Yeah, so I think the highest rank I've gotten on stream has been, I think I got up to rank 3. I think it was pretty early rank 3 though, so it was like just barely. However, think the highest I have ever gotten on my own runs was rank 1. However, here's the thing about TGM. Rank 1 is not actually the end. In fact, it's not even the halfway point. Because once you reach rank 1, there's then a second set of ranks that go from 1 to 10, and then after that, the like master and grand master ranks, which are like ridiculously difficult. And the highest I have ever gotten is regular rank 1, not master rank 1, just regular rank 1. And at that point, that is usually once I start making, I usually end up making at least one misinput by that point, and once that happens, it's usually all over pretty quickly for me. So surprisingly, the rank 3 is a decently far away from rank 1. The score needed to reach rank 1 versus rank 3, it's pretty significant, so it's not super close, but the fact that I've even gotten up to rank 3 this stream is still significantly better than I was actually expecting at the beginning of the stream. I had expected, or not the beginning of the stream as a whole, but the beginning of this segment of the stream, I had expected to play very poorly, considering that my performance in Puyo was very bad. But that's also just, I'm just not good at that game very much. This game, however, I'm fairly confident in my skill level of, compared to the average person at least. So luckily that skill kind of carries me a little bit, even with the talking debuff. And there's my one major misinput of the run. I can still surprisingly salvage it. It's not a completely dead run from there, but it's not looking amazing. Run for cheese. Ooh, that was also not. That wasn't a great misinput either, but it kind of works out. Same with that one. Ooh, that's a bad input though. Getting a line block in the center of the board is possibly one of the worst things you can have happen at this high of a speed. It is a very bad misinput to make. One of the worst possible. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting much further. Yeah, nah. Surprisingly decent run though. Oh my god, I was 1 away from rank 2. So that 399 over 400 down there at the bottom, that increases your level once you get that many clears. So I was 1 away, a single 1 away from reaching the next speed level. I think that, surprisingly, as not amazing as that run felt, I think that was actually the best run of the stream so far. It is the second time we've gotten to 3, and the first time we got to 3, I think we died pretty quickly after reaching it, so... Something that obviously the stream cannot see because, you know, I don't use an actual camera. I just use a VTuber model, but a strange habit that I don't know of any. I've never met anyone else who does this, but it's a very strange personal habit of mine. Whenever I play Tetris, I always close one of my eyes. I like having one eye closed whenever I play Tetris. It makes it significantly easier for me to focus on what's happening if I have like only one field of vision instead of both. It's a very strange habit. I don't know how exactly I formed it. I have just something I've done for years, and I don't really do it in most games. It's mostly just Tetris. Like the one eye closed thing is mostly a Tetris exclusive thing, not a video games as a whole type of thing. But yeah, it's kind of just a weird little thing that I do. It makes it easier for me personally to focus on whatever piece is coming next. I guess it's by dimming my field of view, I suppose, kind of requires me to visually process a bit less. Thank you for the One Piece video game. That was what I was hoping for at that exact moment. The speed decrease almost got me there, but not quite. I was able to just notice it quickly enough to not have any bad misinputs, luckily that time. And it's become a great opportunity to save the run. It's now can now build up a bit of a tower to get some big score on. Yeah, this is so rank 5. Once it kind of slows down like that, is a really good opportunity. A really good opportunity to build up towers. And the reason why you want to build up towers is so you can then make Tetrises, which is, for anyone who doesn't play Tetris that much, the term Tetris doesn't just refer to any clears, it specifically refers to 4 clears, which you can only do with the lines, like the eye blocks kind of. And those give you the most points by far. Those have a significantly higher points multiplier than anything else. And in this game, the more points you get, that's what determines what number rank you go to next. The time at which you change number ranks isn't actually determined by time exactly, it's determined by points. Generally, if you've played enough to kind of know your own skill level and know how long it takes for you to get a certain amount of points, you can generally kind of deduce, you can kind of correlate time to number ranks, but technically it's the points that determine it, not the time that you put into it. And because of that, if you want bigger number ranks, you want to have more score, and so it's better to do Tetrises than anything else. I need to make a fucking nerd emote for these Tetris streams. Fucking any time in the future that I stream Tetris, especially one of the Grandmaster games, it is just going to be the like nerd stream. Me fucking nerding out over Tetris fucking shit. And I noticed sooner that the line piece was next. I would not have made that move, but ooh. Oh. Once again, 399 out of 400. Which actually, never mind. I think I'm never mind. I think both cases I kind of forgot. I think in order to reach, I don't think it's actually 399 out of 400. I think I already reached 400 pieces dropped. But in order to actually reach the next level, you have to also reach a score. I kind of forgot that. Yeah, that's 2 runs in a row where I have reached the end of rank 3, but not quite passed on to rank 4. Unfortunately. Yeah, as I was saying, I need to get the fucking... I set up the fucking, like, sub-goal as one single emote, and the reason I did that was because I don't think I'm gonna get subs for quite a while. So it doesn't really matter what the goal was. I may end up making some emotes before that point, because like, I don't know, emotes are fun. But if I do, I need to make a fucking like Tetris nerd emote, because fucking anytime I stream Tetris in the future, whether it's Grandmaster or really any variant, but especially the high difficulty ones like Grandmaster, I super nerd out. I can fucking... I'm a fucking Tetris spreadsheet gamer in my brain. Build the stacks on both sides. There are several efficient ways to build towers. I said before that it is generally not a good idea to put your opening to your tower on the left or right side. The reason why is because of high speeds. However, for early speeds it doesn't really matter. And even at high speeds, depending on how exactly you build the tower, that can still be viable. You just have to build it in a very particular way. But as long as it's not at either edge, it's usually, your opening is usually in a fine space as long as it's not at the very far edge. And even if it is, it's can be worked with, it's just a bit harder. See, that's one of the problems. So the hard to drop like extra frames, the lack of an instant lock upon hard dropping, it's really good. It's genuinely very helpful. But sometimes if you misjudge exactly how much time, how many frames it takes to lock, you can have some minor issues, occasional misinputs due to mistiming them. Luckily, it's not too common of an issue in my experience, but it is something that can be a little bit obnoxious and can potentially be run killers. Just like all misinputs, but it's a very easy way to get misinputs if you're not used to the system. And I would consider myself relatively used to it. I've been playing this game for a decent amount now, so kind of gotten used to the lock timing, but I do occasionally misjudge it still, and when I do, it is usually either a death sentence or at the very least not a very fun outcome. Ooh, that was a bit of a minor misinput. Even minor misinputs can still cause a bit of a cascade, and that is exactly what's happening to me right now. I think I can at least partially salvage it though, potentially. Let us see. Okay, yeah. I think I can. I don't think I'll fully salvage it. I do think the run will still end very, very soon. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, at least for a short moment, I salvaged it for just a tiny bit extra. And I can be satisfied with that. I'm gonna go for a bit of a strange tower shape. I'm slow enough in the run at this moment that I can kind of just make some intentional bad placements and get away with it. Just to give myself some opportunities to fill in those gaps with pieces that I didn't have great positioning for otherwise. It's not a great idea for my score, but you know, not really my highest priority at the moment. For this stream, I care significantly more about just making it as far as I can lasting as long as possible, more so than getting the best possible score. As much as I do love my big number scores. Something that I'm realizing I would kind of love to do, and it probably wouldn't be any time soon, it would require a lot of preparation. But I think something that would be really fun to do is like a Tetris lesson masterclass stream. Just a stream where I fucking just kind of info dump good strategies and good plays for Tetris. You know, fucking from the basics of like, oh, fucking don't fucking let your Tetris Tetraminos go to the top or you'll die, to like the basics of the, you know, not quite basics, but very things that everyone knows, like T-spins, up to like, okay, here's the strategies that you want to use when like things are fast as fuck and you can barely focus on anything. I think that would be a very fun stream idea, kind of a bit of a Tetris teaching session stream, but that would require a lot of preparation. I think I would pretty much have to script that one out. That would be a stream that I could not just do without at least having some notes at hand. And I think I would want to have like more of a specific kind of layout for it as well. It'd be a long way away if I did ever do that, but I feel like it would be a very fun stream idea if I ever did that. And it's something that I do think I could actually do fairly well. Despite my kind of mediocre gameplay, I am pretty good at Tetris, I would say. And I'm very good at knowing the like theory behind kind of good techniques within Tetris. So, gameplay skill wise, bit above average, but nothing amazing. But when it comes to like knowledge of techniques and stuff, that's where a lot of my skill comes from, is just that knowledge. Sounds really cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's something that it would be a very like difficult stream to do, and it would require a lot of setup. But I feel like it would be a very fun one, both probably to watch and also just to do. Very obvious, most of what I've done for this stream has kind of basically just been that. Half of it has just been me being like, oh, don't do this, otherwise you'll fucking die in Tetris. And then I immediately do that thing I say not to do because, like, I know the theory, that doesn't mean I can execute it at all times, but yeah, I love talking about techniques in Tetris. Good playing habits. For maintaining a relatively decent skill level. It's very fun to kind of talk about that type of stuff for me. Oh. Now, this is the best run we've had so far, surprisingly. Despite it still not being that amazing of a run, it is the furthest we have gotten so far. Oh, and rank 2. Oh yeah. Doing surprisingly alright, despite having quite a decent block deficit near the bottom. This upper area we are keeping manage of surprisingly decently. Until that. That was a pretty bad mistake, but I may possibly be able to salvage it at least a tiny bit, even if not fully. Ooh, fuck. Ooh, yeah, no. Never mind. Wait, no. Maybe a little bit, even if not fully. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna fully salvage it at this point, but I can at least go a little bit further. Ooh, nope. Well, that was still a very good run. Rank 2, and a relatively high rank 2 as well, so definitely not a bad one. Hydrate really quickly. We are doing progressively. I feel like we are progressively doing better, which, you know, of course makes sense, but you know, that is kind of the more experience the better. But my talking has definitely slowed down a bit once I get at those high speeds, but it's worth it when I see that big number, or I guess that low number. Because the lower the number, the better rank for the first set. But yeah, this, well, not exactly, because I just kind of fucked up a little bit there, because that left side has an opening. But in general, this kind of formation of the hole being in the dead center almost is generally the formation you want. Maybe one over, but you know, just this general area is pretty good. And the reason why is because at high speeds, it is significantly easier for it to fall into the hole. If you position it perfectly and you get an eyepiece, you can actually just hold the rotation button and not even need to move the D-pad, and it will just fall directly into the hole. And that is the ideal positioning, since you have it there and it falls that easily into place. then you don't have to worry about the speed. And that becomes a massive concern on higher speeds. At higher speeds, if it is not in the dead center, it is very hard to actually get it to fit into the hole in time before it like hits the ground and has a miss input. But if it's in the middle, then that's not really something you have to worry about. Please give me a One Piece soon. I would like that very much. Video game. Took a bit, but it did give me it. The asking nicely really does pay off in Tetris the Grandmaster 2. The game hears you, and if you're nice to it, it will give you what you want. Sometimes. Every once in a while. But every once in a while is often enough to make it worth it. We're now reaching the big speeds. And my tower is not at all optimal for this speed here, but you know what? I think I'll live. Yeah, I'd win. I think I can live at least a decent bit longer. Not in such a bad state that it's unsalvageable. It's never unsalvageable until you start making a ton of misinput, but until then, you can pretty much always salvage a kind of fucked looking tower. Probably wasn't the best placement for that piece, but you know what? It works out. Not too bad. Now we're getting to the point of making some pretty bad misinputs, but you know what? It's fine. Fine. Okay, it's not fine, but the next run will be better. Surprised I got to rank 2 that run. I feel like my performance was pretty bad for most of that run, especially near the end of course, but I feel like the majority of that run wasn't the best. kind of impressed at myself that I still got to rank 2 despite that. Let's see if we can get even higher. See if we can get higher. I think I possibly can. I don't know if I'll get to rank 1 quite this stream. I am improving with each run, so that's good, but I don't know if I'll quite be able to maintain it enough to get up to rank 1 this stream, but I probably will end up streaming Tetris several times in the future. Surely if I stream Tetris 1,000 times, then I'll reach at least rank 1, like, once at least. Like, there's no way. No way I would just never hit it on stream. A very, very fucked looking tower this early on, but yeah, not always best to build your towers around the IP specifically. It is the best one for getting score, of course, since you can always get a Tetris with that one, but it is also kind of a high risk, high reward situation if the game decides to not give you an eyepiece for quite a while, then that can obviously put you in a bit of a not great situation if you have your entire tower built around getting that piece, but as long as you manage the risk well enough, then it's usually not too bad. not usually ideal being still in rank 4, nearly 6 minutes in, but I'm not exactly at the skill level where I actually have to worry about clearing quickly, because the thing is, TGM, all of the TGM games have not just a normal score system, but a time system. And what I mean by that is that there is a rank, it's Grandmaster rank, it's the rank that the game is named after. And in order to reach that rank, you not only have to get an incredibly high score, you have to do it within an insanely short period of time. Then I think you get like 5 minutes to reach the max rank in order to unlock Grandmaster rank. And obviously, considering that I'm having trouble at rank 4, I don't really have to worry about that too much. But it is still generally a good metric of your overall skill level to check how quickly you can reach high ranks. Like, not just, oh, I'm in rank 4, but how long did it take me to reach rank 4? So 7 minutes on a rank 4 run isn't amazing. So, yeah. Not a terrible run, though. Stretch really quickly. I think in order to prevent myself from playing this too long, because I absolutely will, I can actually just play Tetris for hours on end. But I think to stop myself from doing that, I think I will end the Tetrising right now. I think that is the end of Tetris for tonight. I probably will stream more Tetris eventually, though. I play it way too much. But next stream, whether I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow, probably not, but maybe, depends if I'm free. But most likely next week will be more normal with the stream times and schedule. Well, lack of schedule, but this week I kind of had like more busy life stuff going on that made it harder to stream at the usual time I did of around mornings. However, next week most likely will be more normal around the like 9 to 10 a.m. streams most weekdays. Unlike this week, which was significantly off the norm. But yeah, this was a very fun stream. Finished Puyo. Played a couple of Tetris variants, and most importantly, played a lot of Tetris the Grandmaster 2. I fucking love this game. And I would probably like TGM3 even more if not for the fact that I refuse to play it, because I think I would like it too much. But yeah, it was a very fun stream. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna end not only the Tetris, but also the stream as a whole here. Let's see. Who should I raid? Let's see who. It was really fun. Thank you very much for showing up, Ellie, as well as anyone else who showed up. It was very enjoyable. Who do I follow that's streaming right now? Gotta have the gotta pull up Twitch itself. Let's see. Hmm. I follow Voxandra, and she's streaming a Mega Man X mid-month marathon that she does every month, so I think I will raid that. Yeah, have a nice night, everyone. It was a very fun stream. Bye bye.